All right, my friends, let's create a plot in Excel on the 10-year Treasury. Let's do it in a way that we can download the data from Fred and we can update the chart from that data automatically. Let's do it so that when we make the chart, we can accommodate for the fact that on some days that 10-year doesn't trade. So follow along or sit back and watch, whatever you want to do. We're going to do one date. Let's make that bigger for you. And remember the structure. There's several ways that we want to be able to do this. So we're going to grab daily data. We're going to grab the ticker DGS, and we're going to grab in no transformation. If you don't remember the transformations, the structure, you can look over here. You could go over there for data manipulations. LIN is no transformation, etc., etc. All right, so we're going to grab from the beginning of 2024 up through 9/11, no, unfortunately. 2025, right? Today is October 1, 2025. So I'm just going to grab some point into the past. You're going to click Get Data. Boom. All right, now what I want to do is copy those, highlight them, and then I want you in Windows, Control Shift down arrow to grab everything. Go to Insert, create a table. Boom. Now, as soon as you do that, this table design pops up. It's called Table 8. You could rename it to Funny Face or whatever it is. Resize the table. Right now, it goes from A6 all the way down to B449. And why is that? Because it encompasses the column headings as well as all the structure down to the last date pulled. Now, what I want to do is make sure that you have the ability to automate this process. I don't want you to have to recreate the chart every time your boss wants a new version of this. So we're going to extend the chart however much you want from 449 all the way down to 600. So when we click Get Fred again, it populates new dates. Every time you click Get Fred, it'll give you new information. We could theoretically push this out to 6,000. There's a trade-off. The more rows are in there, the more that the Excel program needs to process. So it slows it down. Theoretically, you could just put it for infinite, but it slows it down too much. So I'll just put 600 for this exercise. Okay, so now we have a table. It's called Table 8. What I want to do is click over here in the table, go to Insert, and Line Chart, and Line Chart, and Super Ugly. Okay, so what we're going to do, select Data, and you see it's got a couple things here. I don't need that date. I don't need that guy, right? Because I don't want to put that on the x-axis. So what I'll do is I'll remove that, and I just want to plot that. All right, that's looking more like what you would expect from a 10-year Treasury, but look at the horizontal axis. It's all jacked up. It's got values. It doesn't have the dates that we need. So a bunch of ways you could do this. Go back to select data, go over here, and remember we called it table 8. I want you to physically type it. This is not grab and drag, and then put in date. The beautiful thing about naming this as a table is when you put the brackets, you can select the columns. Okay, all right, let's do that. Boom, easy peasy. Okay, so now let's make this a little bit bigger. You notice how there's little gaps, 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 gaps. Why are there gaps? There's a gap right there. Happens to be a non-trading day. Nothing necessarily wrong, nothing nefarious. There's holidays. The bond market doesn't trade on every of those traditional business days. Each of those business days, use proper grammar. All right, so we want to do a couple of things. Let me make this smaller again so we can see it all. I want to show you how to create a dynamic title so that you can update your graph, and then we'll show how to fill in those gaps. So first thing is we want to grab the last date. So what I want to do is max table 8 spell, man, spell table 8 of the date. That runs weird, right? 45911. It should be 9/11/2025. Where is 49511? That is not human readable date structure, but it is read as a number. Just go to general, short date, boom. All right. So first date. Do the same thing. You probably guess rather than the max. You're going to use a table 8. fingers, date. Again, it's human readable, short date, boom. All right, so right now it's pulling from the first trading date in 2024 all the way through September 11, 2025. I want to create a title. Title, you don't need to write that. Concat. All right, so what this is going to do is concatenate, which means bind together a few pieces of text. First thing we're going to do is we're going to enter in quotes 10-year. I'm going to put a little colon. All right, so it's putting in quotes, and it's just going to read that. Actually, you can end it right here, and it says 10-year. It's not enough. We want to be able to actually call in the dates. So we're going to call in this first date, and then let's click enter. Super ugly, right? So it's a 10-year starting from that point. Even though the cell J7 is viewed as a date, the computer doesn't read it like that. The computer stores it as the number as we saw. So when we're referencing it here, it's not structured that way. So what we're going to do, I'll put a little space there, is we're going to say, I want you to read that number as a text. And I want you to read that number as a text of this format. Month, day, and the 4, period, year. All right, look at that. That's beautiful. Okay, so now it's saying the 10-year, starting from that point. You could probably guess where I'm going next. 2, so we can actually write the word 2 and put a space, space. Look at that, it's concatenating, binding together all these pieces. You could probably guess what's next. We want to do the last date. Oh man, it's not looking like the date formatted the way that I want because it's reading it as a number. So go back, text, tell it what you want it to look like, month, day, year. Put too many in there. Beautiful. All right, so now I got a title. I want to dynamically link that title to my chart. So go over here, just click on the chart area, equals, and then click on J8. Now the title is in there. If you change that title, let's see if I can mess this up. I'm going to try to break it, so hopefully I can get it back. And you just put A, title updates. Hopefully I can recover. Yes. Okay, so the title automatically updates. So this is going to be very helpful. A couple of other things now. Let's change where I'm pulling in from. So I'm just going to actually eliminate the date. It's going to pull to the most recent one. Watch the chart. Watch the chart. Fred, get data. It updated the data in my table. It updated the dates in my title, and it updated the data in my chart. Excellent. All right, so let's make this a little bit easier to view. Let's go over here and it really doesn't drop below 3. So let's okay, so now it's a little bit easier to see gaps, 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 gaps. We don't need that value. We can delete that if you want. And I want you to click in the chart area. I want you to right click. I want you to go to select data and right over here, hidden and empty cells. Okay, so right now it's showing the empty cells, such as the pound NA, they're not numbers, and it's saying show NA as an empty cell. It filled it in for you. Look at that. Couple of other things we could do. Right click, select data, it is an empty, show NA as an empty cell. It's plotting them as gaps. That's where we started. Right click, select data, hit an empty, plot those as 0. Think about what that's going to look like, man. That's not cool. Right? So that's saying that every time that there's a gap in an NA, boom, it's dropping it to 0. It goes off the screen because we cut the axis at 3. Right click, select data, hit an empty, connect the data points with a line. All right, back to where I would like it to be. All right, so now what we were able to do was create a plot in Excel, connect it to Fred, extend your table so it's auto updating, create a chart that dynamically updates, and we can fill in the gaps. Hope that helps.